Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Sunday morning. Ben's Brick Designs. I'm Ben. Nice to see you. Welcome back to the channel. So, grab bag today because we've got a lot to do. I still have my 5 parts of minifigures. Hello, Walter. Good afternoon. Good morning, Brad and Dave. How are you? I still have this box of no parts here. But the reason I didn't do that is because I was working on this guy. So a while ago, I had talked about wanting to do this set. This is like from the first Ultimate Collector series of sets from like 2000. I think it's from year 2000. One of the early runs of the UCSs. And the thing that I don't like about it is that if you look closely to some of the highlights, they're blue. Now, I don't know why Lego did the TIE bombers and the TIE interceptors in blue. I read an article once about it, and I'm still not sure what the meaning was. But it looked weird, right? So I always thought, well, it would be a great project to do one in light gray or light bluish gray, because that looks more like what you see in like the movies and the video games, especially, where you get a really good look at the ships. And in kind of all the publications about this is the ship that, these are the designs of the ship. Why they were blue, I think, is because of like a film issue with the original film, where that's how they built the models based off the films, and in the films there's a bit of blueness to them, but everyone's like, really? Okay. So I thought that I would have to buy a bunch of parts and whatnot to get it, because there's a couple really old gray parts that I don't have, and I don't know that I had a lot of the things to replace the blue parts with the gray parts, but it turns out I do. So this is the UCS TIE Interceptor, but built with light gray instead of blue highlights. And I think it looks a lot better. I think it looks a lot more like the movie version. It just looks really slick. Now, there's some parts on here that I do have to replace and some that I don't have. So the pipe up here, the hose, right? I only had 2, so I wasn't able to finish it on the bottom. So I've got like 1 on each side, right? There are some pieces that I do not have in light gray, like these guys right here, and they repeat on the inside of the wings here. So I just did dark gray. I still think it looks fine. These little thrusters on the inside, you can see those are, I have some light gray, but not light blue gray. And there's various plates around here that you can see, like that's light gray, that's light blue gray. So there, I'll go through and replace some of the parts on here. Some of the underside slopes, right, are light gray instead of light blue gray, so I'll probably go back through and replace those. I just didn't have, like, the last time I had a set that had a light gray underslope was years ago, so I don't have anything new. These hinges, I don't even think come in light blue gray. I'll have to look. The most expensive piece is on the back here. That does come in light blue gray, this big cockpit, octagonal cockpit piece. It does come in light blue gray, but it's $20. So that's a bit of a price that I don't mind paying, really, but I have to kind of really want it. So from the front, though, you can't really tell that that piece is different. The coloring on the cockpit lends itself more to a dark gray, and there's no replacement for this cockpit. There's just no other part like that. There's a couple things like these are like a dark gray instead of a dark blue gray. But I do have one dark blue gray over there. You can see that, the little phone handsets right there. So these parts do exist. I'll just have to get 3 more. The instructions also call for those harpoon guns on front. This isn't going to focus really well in dark blue gray, but I only had black, which is weird because since I had the set originally, I thought it would have these, but I can't find them anywhere. So I don't know. These shovels, kind of a cool looking way to display or to have the guns there. They are, I had some dark blue grays, but they were used on a microfighter. So anyway, I did this last night and today, and I got really excited about it, and I finished it literally, I was watching Michaela's stream before this. It's not okay. Go check her out. And while I had her on in the background, I was finishing this. And I didn't think I would get it done, but it turns out it's pretty cool looking. I still need to do the stand so I can put it up with my other UCS. But yeah, it turns out pretty good. So I like it. So, what you can do is open Studio and you can import a model. And this is model 7181. And then go through and just highlight everything that's blue. And I'll show you how I did it. And then just replace it all, and then you can part it out that way. None of these are really, other than the two cockpit pieces, like that one and this one, none of these are really weird parts. They're just kind of basic parts. Some of these wedge plates may be a little older, like this, but you still get them in sets now. These big block hinges are still available. They still make these. You may have to get them in black or dark gray, but they're still around. This is another one that you may have to find. I have like 4 of these in dark gray and only one in dark blue gray. So I'm using the dark blue gray one here. I wish it was a light blue gray instead. So I had to put some accents on it to make it fit a little better, but it's not bad overall. So I think overall it's great. I think it'll look good up on the stand with the A-wing and the X-wing. I liked it. I think it turned out pretty good. Much better than the blue. Like, there was no reason to have all that blue in there. I'm gonna put this guy over here. So the other thing that happened this week was, and I'm gonna take a sip of coffee because it's Sunday morning. Cheers. I will take this opportunity to ask everybody to like this video. Subscribe if you're just stumbling in. If you're here on Twitch or Facebook, drop a like, drop a follow, and I appreciate it. I still have the Amelia Earhart in here. Haven't even opened this box. So I need a reason to have a contest, a giveaway, so I can give this to somebody. I'm at like 93 followers on Twitch, so if you're on Twitch and you're coming across and you haven't followed yet, drop a follow and maybe I'll do a 100 followers special and we'll do a giveaway of the Amelia Earhart set. The other thing that's happened is our lug had lug bulk this past week and we got a lot of parts. So I'm going to flip over to the build camera real quick and we're going to look at some parts. So lug bulk, for those who don't know, yeah, my Everyone is Awesome set, it says it's being delivered today, but it also hasn't even said, like if I'm looking at the shipping manifest, it says it's out, it's been shipped. It's not out for delivery or anything. And I'm like, I don't think it's getting here today. Because I wanted to build that today, but we'll just have to do other things, which is why we're doing this. So lug bulk is an opportunity. If you are a member of a lug and they take part in this, you can order parts from Lego directly. And it's usually a fairly decent price. I won't say how much each of these things cost. And you have the opportunity to go through a big list, and then as a lug, you nominate the pieces that should be on the ordering list. Like, you can only have so many pieces out of the available pieces. You have to spend a certain amount of money to make it worthwhile, yada, 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 all these qualifications. In the end, you get a pick from a list of probably 50 or so parts, maybe more, and you can order them in chunks of 25. Unless they're a big part like this, right? Like this big 16 by 16 brick, basically. Technic brick because of the sides. Base plates, burps, things like that, things that are very big. You can order individually or, in smaller groups. So I didn't order a whole lot this year. This is my fourth year doing it. And I got like a little bit of everything, but not a whole lot of anything. So I'm just going to go through what we got and how it relates to what we're building, because I really don't have anything else to work on today. After we do this, I'm going to start some instructions. I'm going to be working with Kodiak, and I are going to work on some instructions after this anyway, so I thought that'd be a good way to kind of roll into that. So obviously 2x2 tiles, corners. I have these in gray, but I don't have them in dark gray or DBG instead of LBG. So that's good. The problem that I ran into is I didn't think I was getting too much. And I was like, I don't know that I'll ever need much of these. But when I finally get them in the bag, I'm like, oh, I should have ordered 50 or 100 of those. So that's going to be the theme for all of this. Don't really know why I got these, other than they're white, and I don't have a lot of these 4x plates in white. So I grabbed a handful of those. A lot of these I kind of couched in the idea of how can I use these in a microfighter, because I don't build a whole lot of anything else on my own. But gold ink tiles, those 1x1 gold ink tiles, a lot of those. I don't know when I'll ever use those, but there they are. Some masonry bricks. So these are all packed by individuals. They are shipped to us in, see, and this is like really sealed. Somebody really went full bore on the packing of this. But these are just the 1x4 mason profile bricks. And I don't know why I only got 25. These are the type of bricks that you should get hundreds of, right? I should have got 200 of these. I don't do a lot of modulars, but they do make good kind of greebly things for other things, so I don't know why I didn't get that many. Also didn't get a lot of these trees. I packed these myself. So what happens is we get them all in, you know, boxes and bags, and each box has like a giant bag of parts in it. And so I got a bunch of these. These are from the flower set that came out recently, so they have these available. And then because of COVID, we did this last year where everybody got a box, and then they went through and got a list with some labels on it. One of the members put a bunch of labels together, and it had the name of the person, how, you know, the type of brick, how many they got, that kind of thing. And then you go to whoever's got them all shipped to them. In this case, it was our lug ambassador. Pick up a box, bring it back to your house, sort them all out, put them all in Ziploc bags, put them all in boxes, take them back to a place. And then either that one person puts them all in bags for everybody, in which case we all got these bags. Got big Lego bags with our names on them. The Lego store here was nice enough to let us use some bags, so everybody got a name tag on it, so that when we all got together and there are boxes with labels on them, you just find, you know, this is so-and-so's, you find their bag, you drop it in. Takes 45 minutes, and then we had to go through and find missing pieces or missing bags, and it wasn't that long of a process. So I think it works out really well that way, instead of before we would just show up and everything was already there, and we would go through every bag and sort them out like on site, and it would be like a 6 or 8 hour affair, and it was kind of like, I really like the way that we're doing it now. We still have the opportunity to get together as a lug and do the sort, but then that leaves us more time to like have kind of a meeting, like hang out and discuss lug business or just catch up with people. So that was nice this time too. I'm not a big plant person, but I got all of these lavender tree leaves. Don't know why. I could probably use them as replacements for the white that's on here, or in addition to. I think that would look really nice. Again, like, I got a lot of these because I don't know when I'll need them, but I was like, I might as well bulk up on some stuff. Just some plates, some 6x8 plates. Let's see. These, I have no idea what I'm going to do with them, but I'm a sucker for cockpits. These are these tubes, right? These half-cylinder tubes. I really like these pieces. I have a lot of these in, I think there was a lug bulk one year that was trans blue, so I got a lot of them in that color. I just like things that are trans clear, and especially cockpits like that. These are important, and I'll tell you why. So I do a lot of these thrusters on the smaller ships. James Barnett, how's it going? What are you quoting? On YouTube too, not Facebook. Interesting. Nice to see you. So I use them for microfibers in a lot of cases. I think also, did I use them for this? I did, but I already found a couple, I guess. So I used them there too, on the back of the Trexler Marauder. I'm a sucker for cockpits. That can be taken a lot of ways. At least I'm not a cocker for suck pits. Is that technically a bad word? I don't want to know what a suck pit is. Anyway, so this is the Tidarium shuttle, and I would rather have these guys. So, and I'm out, which is why I ordered a bunch of these. So we're gonna open these. Yeah, I don't want to get flagged too early in my stream, but I don't think that was officially a bad word, but I'm not gonna push it. So yeah. These go back in the boxes, and then these go on here now. So this is why I ordered these parts, because I knew that doing a lot of these microfighters, and yes, I do realize that there's a 1x4 trans blue, and I have a lot of those, but I think the division in between the two looks better. So I just think that looks better overall. So there we go. So he's done. He's officially done. All right, what else do we got? We got 2x4 black tiles, Natch. Got these. Don't know what I'm going to use for these, but they look cool. These round windows, corner round windows. Honestly, I think they would make great if you built a lot of them together. They would be very cool to have if you built a big white spaceship, let's say, and these were like the quarter paneling along your engines or your thrusters, and then you had something underneath this, right? Tubing or machinery or something like that. And this was kind of covering it. Give it sort of that, hey, we're kind of a rebel alliance and we had to take the paneling off for other things, and here's all the mechanics underneath, you know. So that's what I was thinking about with those, because I'm not doing a whole lot of modulars or buildings or whatever. But these are newish pieces, so I was like, yeah, I'll grab a handful of those. These are the important ones. These are the 2x6 tiles in black. Got these with the Nintendo, I think was one of the first ones. So there's those. Lanterns for whatever reason. I don't know why I grabbed those. I thought they'd make good greebling pieces. Some arches, some half arches. Again, I'm thinking like big white and blue spaceship. More tiles. They ran out of a bag. These are going to be great. I don't know if you can really see these, but these are the shaft with knob. Shaft with knob. I didn't say that. Tuscan Productions, how's it going? Thanks for being here. Welcome to YouTube on this fine Sunday. These are these little handle things. These are great small building pieces. They are like a 1x1 round stud with this little handle on the back. So they can be very useful for very many small build things. So I got a bunch of those. Likewise, I got these 1x1 brackets with the tall side on it. And you can kind of see that. These are going to be great for building small, likewise. I'm not building anything right now. I'm just kind of showing off the loot from my lug bulk purchase. 1x4 tiles. I am going to get into, for those who come in late, turn this down a little bit. I replaced all the blue highlights in the UCS TIE Interceptor with light gray instead of blue, and rebuilt this. So this is a set from 2000, 2001, something. And all of the highlighted areas around the wing, right, were blue for some reason. Same with the TIE Bomber. So I just rebuilt it and replaced it all with light gray, and I think it looks a lot better. So this is the latest build. I still have to get like a tube for both wings, right? Because I only had 2 of these, and those are hard to come by, these tubes. I don't know if I can get it in there or not. These long gray tubes. And then some other parts that are in dark gray, like that side panel there, I have to get in light gray, and some dark blue gray bits like those shovels I have to get replaced too. So that's a recap of what I've been building. But honestly, I just did that yesterday and today, so these tiles are important. Always little trans clear tiles. Some 1x3 with wood printing. Don't know when I'm going to use those, but 1x3 tiles first of all. More 2x4 tiles. These are great. I think these came on the shuttle, but I don't remember where. There are these corners, these rounded corners. So it's a 2x2 rounded corner. They call it a bow. Anything that's like a rounded brick, they call a bow, and I don't know why. I got more of these. Huh. How many I ordered? It just says 50. Yeah, maybe because they just ran out of bags. That's fair. Ubiquitous 1x1 dark gray tiles. I'm running out of those, so I had to get some. These are also very cool pieces, and I've been using these a lot more. 1x3 plate with 2 knobs, so like a 1x3 jumper. These are great if you're building like 3 wide, but you still need to get a person in a seat in the middle. So if you're doing a 3 wide car or a 5 wide car, this helps you kind of center a person in the middle of it. Some round corner, or they're called cutouts, but they're like round plates, like corner round plates. Got some of those. Some more masonry bricks just in gray. Some more rounded arch bricks in nougat. I think the idea was I was still building the Beggar's Canyon model, and I decided to stop because I didn't want to build it anymore. So I got these two, and I'm not really sure again what to do with them. These would be great modular pieces though. These are these jumper arches, the corner version and then the straight version. So you can kind of build, when they're put together, I'll kind of show you, they look pretty cool when they're built together. Thank you to Josh Gilson, who helped with this channel for like vacuum sealing these parts together, the bags. So yeah, you get a corner piece like that, and then you get the rest of these like this, and it makes a very pleasing sort of arch thing, but with these tops, you can continue to build on the top. So those are very cool pieces. For buildings, I don't know if I'll use them much for small spaceships, but we shall see. Sorry for the noise. I should turn my phone down. Just got a weather alert. I'm starting to use Weather Underground, but they're like alerting me every like hour to the temperature. They're just like, hey, it's 80 degrees out. I did get, a stack of these guys. I think these would be great for spaceship stuff. If you build a really big spaceship or just small modulars, you can do a skinny modular kind of thing if you did 2 wide. They're an odd size because they're 16. So in order to get a 32 by 32 plate, you have to put 2 of them together. So that's your modular size, right? It's kind of like it's almost like a Mills plate, but these are just large Technic bricks, so you can still run stuff through the bottoms there. I did get a couple of these half road plates because I didn't really want to get the full road plates. I'm not a city builder, but I thought I could use these as some kind of spaceship wing, maybe. I'm not sure yet, but they're new and I got a couple, so might as well, right? More 2x6 tiles. Very cool 2x6 tiles, dark gray. I was kind of hoping they had light gray available, but they didn't. I did get some purple for no reason. Purple slopes. Trans purple slopes. So those are kind of sexy, right? They're not the sparkle ones, but they're still pretty cool. These are going to be very important to microfighters. They're just dumbbells. They call it a handle, but they're just little dumbbells. So I got a bunch of those. Some clear 1x1 bricks because I'm running out. Some clear minifig heads. These would be good for a lot of things that I can think of. So like windows, you can put them behind windows and stuff. They make good vases. Put a little transclear cone on the top. Kind of turn it upside down maybe. These are great. These are those 1x1 or 1x2 round plates. Got some black plants. They're called stock with shaft. They're just black plant pieces. More of these handles, but instead of like a single handle, they're like an angled piece off to the side a little bit. I got some just leaves. And then these are, I think, the most important bits. These are these snot bricks, but they've got the snots on both sides. These remind me, do you guys remember Mario Kart when you're in like Bowser's Castle and it's got those bricks that fall on you and they've got the faces and the spikes on either side? I forget what those are called, but that's what these remind me of. Like if you could put two eyes on this and a couple little snot bits or slope cheese wedges on the side, that's what it would look like. I'd be shocked if Nintendo Lego hasn't done all that. So anyway, that's what I got. It's now I got to figure out where to put all this because I'm still not done sorting any of my other stuff. I still have bags from last year and I haven't really cracked into much of them. Let's see, this I'll have to put away separately and that separately because those can't reseal. So that was fun. We got together and we sorted a little bit, and I think they're used a lot in the Mario sets to build the little figures too, but I'm not sure if they're used specifically for making those rock smashy things. Je ne sais pas. All right, so that's out of the way. Now I was going to do, how much time we got left? Oh good, we got an hour. So I'm going to be working with Kodiak after this a little bit on studio stuff just for a couple minutes. But I thought what I would do is, since somebody asked me the other day if I had instructions for this, and I don't, when I would have instructions for these two. Because I don't have any instructions for these two. So what I thought I'd do is I'd just go through and start breaking these up for instructional purposes. So that's the bulk of the rest of the, and I have these already built, right? So I don't need the instructions, but I still have the raw file. So I'm going to try to get these built and put up on Rebrickable. I think the Trexler Marauder, especially since it's going to come out as an actual set soon, would be a good one to do. So that's what we're going to work on now. And obviously this is I think Walter, were you asking for it? I forget if it was you or somebody else. This is an approximation of Cara Dune, obviously, so we don't really need this as part of the instructions. It's just there for rendering purposes to look nice. So, and this is very hollow back here. I think I'm going to add a couple pieces to make it a little more stable. We're only at 106 pieces right now, which it doesn't look like it's 106 pieces. It's very compact, right? It's, if I were to break out an actual Lego set, it's not much bigger than an actual Lego Microfighter. You know, ubiquitous Millennium Falcon here and Trexler Marauder, you know. That's pretty equitable size. You know, I can seriously see this being a good comparison size. So I'm not worried about the part count. It's a little part heavy to get some of these pieces on here, and some of these may be able to be replaced because they're maybe expensive or hard to find. So yeah, so generally with the instructions, what I'll do is I'll go through and I want to get everything, and this is going to be different from however everybody else does it. Everybody's got their own way of doing it. But I do like having everything in a later step and then moving everything into the step above it. And I'll show you why here in a second. So I'm going to get rid of... Oh, you know what's going to be a problem is you're not going to be able to really see the step process, which I think is more important. So I think I'm going to move this over a little bit so you can kind of see the process a little better. I need to work on the layout part of the stream. Yeah. So does that look all right? Can you see kind of what's going on here? The build part isn't as important, but it's the step part. So we're going to work on that a little bit. Yeah, normally just having this is fine because you can, you know, if you're building from the bottom up, you can just go like this and hide all the pieces and find out how everything is built inside of it, you know, and then show it all and then come back and just do a little bit less and find out, okay, now what do I do? That kind of thing, which is kind of what we're going to be doing for the instructions. So I get rid of that. So everything is in step 2, right? Oh, yeah, this is something that needs to be fixed. These do not come in dark gray, apparently. Dark bluish gray, and I needed to recolor those. So get the other one and recolor that. All right, so first step obviously is when you're done building the model is to go through along here and make sure that you've got no, should have been doing this during the design process, but you can always double check later after you save it, just to make sure that there's no exclamation points, any issues, right? You've got your check issues button down here. If we do that, nothing should come up, right? Check issues, unavailable color. There's, yeah, nothing in there. So we're good. What was the other one that we could do? We could check part availability or not available from selected palette. Doesn't matter. We're not using a palette. We're just using the shapes, right? So the first thing I usually do is I start at kind of the bottom with the biggest piece there, which is kind of how Lego does it. They usually work up. They don't work, you know, back to front or anything like that, unless it's kind of a snot build, in which case they'll build it up and then lay it down. But it also depends. Bigger models will have subgroups and they'll do like the interior structure and build out, but it's always usually from the bottom up and from the back forward. And I don't even think it's like right to left. It's usually back forward, but I feel like in a lot of cases the instructions are kind of facing the left, which is interesting. They're not really facing the right. They're facing the left. So it's like you're holding a model like this. So if you can see it, your angle is like that. So it's building from here to here, and it's building from the bottom up. So that's kind of what we're going to do here. So very first thing is find this big piece. That's going to be your first step, right? Step. Make sure your step view is checked so that when you go back and forth, you can see what you're working on, what you're missing. So if you go to the next step, obviously everything's there. Now this gets a little tricky because you want to be able to find all the pieces in here. So you may have to hide some and move some to be able to get to the right thing. But that's just the process that I have. Other people may do it differently. Other people also tend to, I think if you're doing a bigger build, they will tend to make sure that they have a step process in place while they're building, because it's really hard to go back and create one if you've got a several hundred to 1,000 piece set, if you haven't already started planning that. So especially if you're doing like sub assemblies maybe for a bigger model, the sub assemblies especially, you can go through and kind of group them together, lock that group in place, and then open it up, and then, you know, make sure it's all got nice steps so that when you lock it again later in the instructions, it'll be like sub-assembly. Build it like this, attached to the whole model. And you can do that a lot easier if you're planning it ahead of time. With a model this small, it doesn't really matter. You know, sometimes you have whole sub-assemblies that are 100 parts or 50 parts. So fairly obvious that we can do these two or these 4 pieces next. So I already screwed up. Highlight that step. I feel like I'm running out of real estate down here, so let's make sure. There we go. Make a new step. So this, you'll see this step's now blank. The reason steps are important is because then when you go through building the instructions in the instructions section, you can verify what the steps look like. It should be like the active piece that is going to be in that step is fully rendered, and then everything else is like a wireframe around it, and you can see how it builds up. And then if everything looks good there, you can move to your page design part of the instructions. But this is how it gets put together portion of it. And I know Kodiak does slightly differently than I do, based off of how Darth Designer did it. Like, I think he kind of picked up how he built things and kind of picked up and adapted his own way of making instructions. This is just the easiest for me because it helps me kind of keep track, and that way I can just kind of move things as they're being created or added to the model. So, but everybody has a method and nobody's method is wrong. So now I'm going to take all these, and when you get to these smaller models, you can kind of assume, I'm not designing these for children really. So you can group a large number of pieces together. I'm going to show you this, the way Lego used to do it. Because now we've got instructions that are very hand-holdy and one at a time kind of thing. But look at that. That's all your pieces. Make it work. You know, it doesn't have any outlines around the pieces. It just says those are the ones you need. It doesn't measure any bars. It doesn't do anything. So I think a lot of the builders that are going to get these off of Rebrickable are going to be older. So I don't mind lumping a lot of pieces in together. So then we add another step. Go back to this one. So now it's going to get a little complicated because we're going to need to, I guess I can do these next. We're going to need to figure out what's inside. So that's a good portion there. Now, I know from having done it already, and you can collapse these so you don't have to see them. Make sure that we add another step. I know that this piece won't go on without these two pieces, but again, we're going to try to build from the back in. That just makes it easier to see stuff as you're going along, right? Because if I build from the back here, or the front, if something is placed behind these two giant things, or even any little thing, having that in front of it in the way makes it harder to see what's behind it. So if you build from the back, you get to see what's... It also means you have to spin the model around and stuff. So I know these are next. These guys, and we'll put that guy and this guy. So those guys will be next. Moving them is a little weird because you're not always able to... They're not always right here. So I've been able to, like, if you use your mouse button, your left mouse button, to grab it and move it, then with that clicked, use your right mouse button to move the slider, right? And if you don't let go of that left mouse button, you still have it, and it'll drop it in there. So that's just a trick that I picked up, and I don't know how many people do that. Oh, I'm not on screen. Thank you. I'll do that again. Let's see if I can do that again. It's not gonna. Okay, there we go. So I want these three pieces, but they exist a little farther down than my step, right? So I could drag them up here like this and wait and wait and wait and wait and wait till it gets up to the step. Or if I hold down my left mouse button and hold it, right, I can move the parts around here in this step list. And then if I right click on the slider, I can move the slider up. So that's a little faster. then let go of the slider, then let go of the part. So there you go. Oh, and there's another part in here. See, I already missed this. So we'll go back in here, grab this part. I think this part goes, we'll probably put it right here. Actually, I think, no, yeah, I'll go right there. That's gonna be a little awkward because it's like the front and the back at the same time, which I don't necessarily like. But whatever, people will figure it out. So now if anything exists in front of this, it won't be blocked by these. So that makes it a little easier. I won't say any questions, but if you guys have questions about stuff, let me know. Also, any sound problems, any visual problems, thanks for letting me know that the screen wasn't up. I do that from time to time. So now it's just a matter of going through these and figuring out what's hidden and stuff. So I'll probably hide, nope. I don't want to hide the whole step. See, it wants to hide the whole step, and I don't want to do that. Show all. I just want to hide like a little bit so I can see what's next. Now the next problem is there's a piece in here there's a section in here that's empty that I'm going to put some bricks in. So I'm going to be adding to this a little bit. But we'll do it in this step. So we can kind of see in here, it's like, if I hide this, and that, and that, and that. Oops. Yeah, that's fine. It looks like it's 3 tall or 2 tall. So I'll put a brick in here. And then I think another brick, or is it 2 plates? Another brick, okay. So there's 2 more bricks. So when you place something in a field, like I had that step highlighted, but it's gonna put it at the very end of the last step. Kind of always. Oh, and it is off, okay. So I'm gonna color this plate differently so it's easier to see. We're gonna color that one black. Oh, and it did put it in the right one. That's good. All right, so now we've got that. And I may have to do this in a later step, and we'll show you how to move. You can move a step around. You can just drag the whole step and move it lower, because I think there's gonna be other stuff in the way here first. I'm gonna hide all this. Nope. Hide all that. Hide that. There shouldn't be anything else in here right now. There's some stuff on the back here. 1, 2, 3 corner plates. Okay, so we're gonna do these 2 plates first, and it's gonna be, I'm gonna do something, oh, dang it. See, this is what I'm talking about. I never remember to do an extra step here. So we'll do that, and then these guys. You have to kind of get in the mindset of how would you want this done? Like if you were building this, how did you want to see it? So you can see how that's blocked off a little bit by this. So I want to move this step below it. And you just drag it and stick it down there. So now your steps go like that, and that's a little better. This is going to get moved again because there's going to be more on the other side here. I wish I could permanently hide stuff, but you can't. So the next thing is to put all these guys in here. And before I forget, which I think it's gonna hide that anyway. Blast. So now these guys go in here. And I probably could, although I'm not going to. I was gonna say I put all of those in at once, but I'm just trying to get this back end filled out first. So now I'm gonna drag this down again. This. Wait a minute, is that blank? There's nothing in there. This gets moved down. onto the step. Okay. So now you can see, now it's not getting in the way of anything because nothing else is back there. How much will this cost? So you can do a thing on here where you can highlight the whole model, or you can have it all up, and you can go to model, model info, and then parts list, and you can kind of get an estimate about how much it will cost. Or you can upload it from Bricklink, or from the application to Bricklink, and have it set as a wanted list. And I've got, I don't need this anymore. And I don't need this anymore. So let's see, Trexler Marauder. So you can have the whole parts list in here, and then you can just do buy all. And you can create a bunch of carts, and we'll just do like, you know, auto select. And it'll go through all the carts until it finds all the carts, and it'll say, you know, it's going to cost you this much plus shipping and handling. You can also do an easy buy, which isn't as great because it may look for international stores if something you have is a weird color or part. So it looks like it's about the same. So about 10 bucks. That's if you don't have some of these parts already. Again, 10 bucks plus shipping and handling. You might be able to, in each cart, also increase the amount of a part you want. Like if you're only buying one little part, you can say, well, give me 10 of those because I know I'll need them later, and that'll increase the cost of the shipment, obviously. So this is a little off because it's kind of assuming a few things. It doesn't really know your shipping preference. It doesn't know that you've got any coupons applied, that kind of stuff. So this is always going to be a little more inflated than what you see on Bricklink. You can also see which pieces are going to be the most costly. You can sort by piece each or piece total. Like if you know you're going to need 6 of these, you know, that's going to be expensive, that kind of thing. So this is pretty good. Physical information is not really important. There's also the stability thing, which I kind of like, which you can see it says that's not very stable. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just, it's highlighting one piece. Clutch power issue, it's one piece. I don't know why they did that. It's so small. All right, so where were we? We're doing this step. And I think there's one more step that I want to put above this. So it'll be these guys, these corner plates. Will need to go up here as well. Sometimes my hand just twitches and it puts everything in the wrong spot. All right, so now we've got that guy in there, and now we can move on with the rest of it. So add a step, don't forget that. Go down here. I don't want to hide the whole step, just go in here and hide this. This hide is a little funky. So I know I'm gonna, the problem with hiding everything is that every time you repeat it, you can't permanently hide these. So you just kind of have to know that you have to go back and redo it. So now I'm gonna do a funky step because it's gonna have all 3 of these, or all 2 of those. And we will do a call out later if we get to that, if we get that far. And now a call out is basically you make a step and you can group it together. Like I should probably group these. And I have to remember to do this thing where I don't have the parts in here. I copy the subgroup. And this will be important later because if you're going to repeat something with like a ×2 on it, like you want them to do something twice, if you have 2 things built in they're already built, and you group one and then you group another, and they're both called group 1 and group 2, it won't know that that's the identical thing that you need to do just twice. It'll make one group and then it'll try to insert the steps for the other group. But if you copy it, like I just did, you copy this group and paste both of them in the set, when that one subassembly times 2 is done, it won't try to then do another group. It just assumes that that copy of that group is that one thing. It's kind of a weird thing, and it took me a while to figure that out because I was doing a lot of subassemblies where it was basically repeating the thing, but what it would do is it'd say, especially a subgroup that you're going step by step instead of like a call out. Call out just means, let's see if I can find what a call out means. So this is the Razor Crest instruction booklet. Let's see if we can find out what a call out is versus a, oh, right off the bat. Okay, so this right here is called a call out, right? And this isn't even putting two things together. It just shows you what needs to be built, right? So it says, put that Technic plate with a pin in there twice, right? So that's a call out versus a subassembly, which is, let's see if I can get a subassembly. There's a good call out because it's showing you put these two pieces together, then do it twice and put one here and one here, right? And it lets you do arrows and stuff. A lot of call outs here. I don't know if we're gonna do too many subassemblies. A subassembly, here we go. So a subassembly is just, you're working on your big model, right? Can't see this. You're working on your big model, you know, and then you put your big model aside and do this little bit. So subassembly, this is all one subassembly, right? And then you put that on here. That's what a subassembly means. So a subassembly, if it's a lot of steps and it's too big for the page, you can do a group, like just break into that where if you go to give steps to that group, it'll show up. You can then right click on it in the instructions and say, turn this into a call out if it's only like one or two pieces. So that's just stuff that I've had to learn. Trial and error, asking around on Bricklink's pages and stuff like that. So, but that's what we're going to do with this. And I might be able to, yeah, don't show that again. So page design, let's just do real quick so I can show you what I'm talking about. So here's your thing. You can right click and do, no, highlight that whole thing and then say convert to a call out. So now this shows up in the page, right? And you can actually split this up a little bit. If you go into the previous step editor and like if we go in here, so this is the step and we can give this thing, you know, step before, and then return to parent. And that should be good for both of these. Yeah, so that's good for both of them because it's a copied group. So what I'm doing should be apply to both of them. So then we go to the page editor and we do, see now it broke it, so you have to go back through and say change to or convert to call out. So you can do that. It's not ideal because I would rather have it just like have arrows pointing to it. And there's a thing you can do called activate buffer exchange, which is the weirdest terminology I've ever seen. But you could just have like that one brick and then those two plates on either side kind of pointing to each other so they know that's how you're supposed to assemble it. But this will work as well. So you can, and this is all going to change later because I'm going to need to, there's going to be other steps in the way. You can copy this arrow and paste it so you can get a second arrow. I think. I thought you could. Okay, there we go. And then do, ugh. So it really depends on where you want this thing too, like. I used to be able to just grab it. I don't know, I think maybe that's changed. And then you can move this to kind of thing. So that's what a call out would look like, right? This is a call out instead of its own instruction page. So, you know, you're going along instruction, instruction, and then a little call out, and that's what you do instead of a whole subgroup. And then the last step is everything else. Draw a circle, draw a triangle, draw the rest of the owl. This is all going to change in the end because we're going to change how the steps are, but that's kind of what a call out looks like. All right, so now that we've got that out of the way, there's a lot of information. Need to hide these side bits again. Hide them side bits again. So the next thing will be, I know there's some internal stuff, so I'm actually going to hide these guys and build this internal stuff. It's just a couple bricks, but that, I think that's it. Okay. See, this is going to be a problem because this brick is going to get in the way of seeing these two things, but I don't want to do these two things separately. So, nerds. I forgot to do a step. Now I got to do all this hiding again. This is the only frustrating part. I do not like that. That must have changed recently because I don't remember having to deal with like the whole step being hidden. Hide, hide. All right, so this, I think I'm gonna do these two together. Another step. Another hide. Yes, it gets frustrating. And then I'll do these two together. All right, so this does overlap this piece a little bit, and I don't like that, but I think it gives a kind of a good indication of what's going on. It doesn't hide it too much. Yeah, thanks, Brad. There's still instructions on how, I mean, the way Lego does it. I'm pretty sure they have different software. They've probably got very proprietary internal software that does these instructions a little bit better. And my guess is it's a more of a CAD thing than this. I feel like this is still a CAD program-ish, but I think theirs is probably just a bit more robust. And probably they have design software and then instruction software. I don't know if the two are lumped together like this or not, but and I'm sure there's like an overlay team that does extra stuff on each page and arranges the pages properly, and it would be interesting to learn. So, all right, another step. But I mean, this gets you a long way. Like this goes a long way towards getting what you need done, especially if you're just like a hobbyist, you know. So, nope. So now that all the internal stuff is done there, we can add these guys in a new step. And then, yeah, every once in a while, just go back through and make sure your steps look good. And now we can get to this front bit that was hidden by everything else because the bricks were so tall. So new step, go back into this one, and there's nothing, there shouldn't be anything behind this, right? We're already done. So now we can just pick both of these two, Put them in that step. And then put this guy in there. All right. So we're done with the base stuff. Now we can build up on this, and we're, you know, rocking and rolling. Might be able to go back and do the other transport. So we'll see. I might go through the page design too if we got time. Oh, I didn't mean to expand them all. Whoops. Where's the collapse? Thank you. All right. So, new step. There's going to be another group here. There's going to be two groups going forward. This is going to be a sub-assembly. This is going to be a sub-assembly. And they're all going to be different because they're not identical. So it's going to be like, here's a sub-assembly. Put this all together. And you can see, you just put all that together, attach it. That's all you got to do. So that's going to be two of those. It's going to be lower. Right? Just like that. And these are all on this plate, so that's all going to be 1, 2. But for now, we're going to do the tops. So we'll go here. And that's an empty step, so I think we do this guy. Actually, go from the back. So we'll do this guy, and this. Nope, not that guy. Go away. This is why people with models on Rebrickable charge for their instructions. It's why anybody who makes instructions charges for the instructions. It's not even that you've designed something on your own. It's that the instruction making part of it takes a very long time. Almost probably equally as much time as designing it did originally. So like the RQ4 that I did, the Global Hawk drone, 600 pieces, something like that. The instructions took about 2 weeks. Maybe a little less, because I wasn't working on it 8 hours a day. If I was working on it 8 hours a day, it would probably take about 4 or 5 days, maybe. But I was working on it several hours a day, and it's just a matter of piece by piece by piece. You know, imagine putting a set that's 600 pieces together. That would take you probably about 2-3 hours. And that's just looking at a piece, putting it on a thing. Now imagine multiplying that time by about 4 or 5, because you've got to put the piece in the right place. You've got to make sure it's at the right rotation. Are you going to group it? Then you have to do a page design for it, blah, 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 blah. So that's why, you know, somebody's like, why would I pay $30 for instructions? I'm like, why wouldn't you? They put a lot of time and effort into it. My instructions are downloadable PDFs. Imagine if you got like a printed book from somebody. Imagine like a hobbyist did this, right? Would you not pay for just that? Yeah, you're already paying for the parts, but you're also paying for your unique, one-of-a-kind, non-Lego piece of artwork kind of thing. Do I sell a lot of instructions? No. I officially barely sell any, like one every 2 months maybe. I was getting one a week maybe, and I've charged like $1 for them, for most of them, maybe about half. But I stopped charging for a while, and then I started charging again $1 for like some of the more. I would look at what's being downloaded a lot, and then I would be like, okay, well that's popular, I'm going to charge for that one. And then I could put that up there too. So this is a good example of grouping a whole bunch of stuff together. Everyone can figure that out. That's 5 pieces. You would think with 70 some models up on Rebrickable, I would be selling a lot more, but not everybody wants microfighters. Everybody wants UCS level stuff, and they'll pay $30 for the instructions. Sure. I probably do have some downloads, because some of the stuff up there is free and you can get it for free. So, but lately I haven't seen a whole lot of it being downloaded either. So I'm kind of doing this just for my own fun. I like the idea internally of having just the fantasy, the concept of building a database of Star Wars ships in Lego form, regardless of it being what just happened? No. Regardless of them being microfighters. It's still a database of Star Wars ships. So that kind of makes me happy. Yeah, I mean, instructions take, this is a 100-piece set, and this will take an hour to do, maybe more. Because this is just the step process, and again, I'm talking, and I'm going back and forth and doing other things, but... yeah, you get the idea. It's not easy. I mean, it's easy. It's tedious. But the end product is kind of fun when you put a little splash page on the front there, and you're like, yeah, I did that. That's pretty cool. I think all these can go in that one step here. So yeah, boom, boom. Okay. And this final step, we'll do this. Bob's your uncle. Whoops. Did I miss one? Oh, that piece isn't supposed to go in there yet. There's not a lot of people that make quality microfighters. There are exactly... counting myself, like with any volume, I would say there's 4 of us. There are people who have built one-offs that are very good, but they don't do like a ton of stuff. And they haven't done anything for years. They, I don't want that as part of that step. They did, like, when this all first started, they did, hey, look at this kind of thing. I built this one, and that's the only thing they've done. Which is fine. That's where I got a lot of ideas for, or builds for this, for the ones that I have. Because they only built one. I'm like, brilliant. That's the one I want. All right, so we're going to save because I don't want to have to go through all these steps again. Kodiak, if you don't want to, and if you got the IO file, I wouldn't mind doing that. Yeah, if you would like instructions, I wouldn't mind like putting some together for you. Especially if it's a project that you're just sick of looking at. I completely get that. Our lugs, people in our lugs still ride me a little bit about, do you want any more tan pieces? Do you want any more sand green pieces because of the capital? Because I was just swimming in those 2 colors. So anytime those 2 colors come up, I'm like, thank you. No, I don't want any of that. Thank you. So these last 2 steps are going to be really easy because I'm going to group that. I'm going to group that. I'm going to group this. And I'm going to group this. So those are just going to be 4 different steps. I feel like I'm missing something. Oh, these 2 on the back. Shoot. Yeah. I think I'm more horrified than I am sickened. It's available for free on Rebrickable if you'd like to take a crack at it. Yeah, I might. I mean, I don't feel like I'm in a rut, but lately I'm just like buying parts for microfighters, designing microfighters, streaming about designing microfighters, building them. So taking a break to do the TIE Interceptor was kind of a I got like really excited. I'm like, I have all these pieces. Let's do this. And of course I had all the pieces from the original because I owned it, but having all the light gray instead of the blue was like, so anyway. All right, so these are all gonna be, yeah, and that slope needs to be a different. So let's see, that. I think I'll put it in here. That piece will go here. So boom, 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 boom. And then I'll do one more back here for these two guys. And you can rotate your model in the instructions too to kind of show, hey, spin it around and put these guys over here. And they have an insert where you can do the little dial thing to show that you have to split it. Yeah, a handful of people, not everyone. Ki Young Lee. Is it Ki Young Lee? Is still doing them. Updated December, I think, put a couple up there. Thanks for streaming. Got to run. Have a great day, all. You too, Brad. Thanks for coming by. Good seeing you. They have put some stuff up, but it's been... Also, their microfighters are getting really big. Like, however they're designing them, they're like double. They're almost like MIDI scale, but with a figure in it. And it looks cool because you can add a little more detail to it, but at the same time, I'm like, that's not the squat little chibi looking microfighters anymore. You're getting a little big, which is kind of like what I was doing. I got all excited about stuff, and my TIE Bomber was huge, and the Rogue Shadow was huge, and so I'm wondering if they're going through kind of the same thing. All right, so this is the step view's done. Now this is going to be an interesting one because these are going to be big sub-assemblies, but we won't get to them until we go into the instructions and do the steps. So we go into instructions, right? And it does give you a warning that says you're leaving the design part of it. You're going into a different aspect of the program. Just say yes. Shortcut keys are A and D to move back and forth over here, right? And I usually, because it's so small, I just like run through. Yeah, that looks great. That looks great. That looks great. Right? We've already done these guys. These are already groups with their steps. There's been no groups up until this point. This you could do a group with this, but this is so simple. You're just like, I might do like a, since this is broken up here, I might do like a aspect or a buffer exchange where you basically separate the parts a little bit, and then they've got arrows showing you where you put them. We'll get to that in a second. Same with this. I might, but it's only two pieces. Who cares? Don't need that. Don't need that. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. I might do one here. I might do one here because this looks like you might not be able to see it, but that'll be rotated. All right, so here we go. Oh, these are all, okay. Well, now I've screwed up. So each of these last bits needs to be its own step. That's what I didn't do. So we'll do these guys first, which means we'll do these guys last. Do another step here. Do that guy. And then this will be a step here. Because they're asymmetrical, so we can't do like, just do this twice. And that should be it. Okay. Not going to open that guy yet. Going to save. Now go into instructions. And just run through, make sure everything looks right. The reason I do this is because it's just an easier version of going through the steps in the build screen. Just to see if anything's out of place. Like you may have a piece that got lumped in with a group and it shows up here as like floating, like it hasn't been attached to anything else. You know to go back and look for that thing and put it in the right group or the right step. But it's a small model, so this doesn't take a long time to go through if you've done your pre-work. Okay. So there's group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4. So what we're going to do on each of these is come in here and do view steps, and it'll have all the parts down here. Already they're grouped together. So now we have to determine how to put all these together in a subgroup. So usually what I do is either highlight a piece, or you can pick the piece down here. Do step before, because you're building over here on the side, see this? You're building the step, so you want that piece to be first, so you say step before. You could come in here and do step after, but then you kind of have to keep track of which ones go last. So saying step before basically makes this the first piece. So you say step before, and then you can do like highlight these two, step before, and then just leave. Actually, this one could probably go in that step too. So I'm going to delete those and then do well, yeah. So step before, then all three of these, step before, and then because these are the remaining ones, you don't have to say anything. So then you return to that. Now we go to the next one, view steps, same thing. Try to, in some sub-assemblies, it's hard to remember what you did, but try to remember, like, so for consistency, you do the same thing for like repeated models. All right, this one's gonna be a little more complicated, but this is the first one, step before, and then see how it hollows it out, it wireframes it, so you can see what's underneath it. That's very helpful. So then we're gonna do this guy and this guy, step before, then we're gonna do this guy, step before, then this guy and this guy, step before. Then we'll do these two, step before, if I can remember all this for later. Then we're gonna do this guy and this guy and this guy, step before. And it really, I mean, you don't have to remember it, really, just however you feel good doing it. And then I'm just gonna leave that. So the next one, we're gonna do this, and we'll try to do the same steps. Step before, these two, and this guy, then both of these two, then this, oh wait, no. Let's do this guy and this guy. And then we got these. That's weird. I just realized something. I should have those alternated, but I didn't. I think I got this built wrong, but yeah, I think I've got, yeah, I just got the, because I think I did a mirror. I like this more than this one. So I can go into the submodel, unlock it, and then just organize the pieces. Whoa, where are you going, dude? Why are you all the way fucking down there? I mean, okay. Then relock it, so now it's still part of that group, but now we have to go back through the instructions part and get all the way through this to this part. Okay, that one's done. I think we have to do the other one. Yes. So view steps. All right, so that. I mean, that's probably okay. Yeah, all right, good enough. So those are all done. Okay, we don't have anything else to do. So now we only have like 10 minutes here, but I can show you a little bit of the page design. So ideally, I also have a splash page that I put in front of here. So I'll do insert, or I'll do add new page, and then move it up. Oh no, I think it was insert page before. Yeah, there we go. So right on this one, I'm going to put a splash page. And the splash pages look like this, right? So they've got my information down here. So when this is created as a PDF, and some of this stuff I have on Rebrickable doesn't have this, and I'm slowly going through and making sure that it does have this. So it has a PDF of my information on it. So hopefully somebody can't take this image because it's got text in front of it. It's got my stuff on it, that kind of thing. But I'll put that in the front here. I'll insert that as an image. I'm also going to change the color. So it's like a bluish, because that, I like that better than it being white. And then we're going to do, that should be global style. Shoot. Yeah. Okay. So there you go. All right, so now you get to go through each page and make sure that everything is visible, right? So this is already going to be a problem because we can't see underneath it. So you can change the step view, do custom, and just change the degrees so they can see what's going on. So then you can put those guys there, that fits, but then you're going to want to flip this guy back to the regular view. The rest of these should be regular view for a while. Let's do activate buffer exchange. So see, when you activate buffer exchange, it creates these arrows. You can move it. So hopefully the red outline, they'll see that it's two pieces. And then there's a red outline here, and then they'll see that it goes down there. At least you protect your work, not for the money, but for the work you had. Yeah, I mean, it's not like Lepin or anybody at the Alibaba sites or mock makers or whatever the sites are that steal people's models are going after my models. I've only seen it happen once, and mock makers took care of it really quickly. So I'm not terribly worried about any of that, but it's just kind of peace of mind. This also, I don't think I need, you can see the differentiation here. I don't think I need to split it. There's our call out again. Nothing's changed. That's a good step. That's a good step. That's 4 pieces there. That's a good step. That's easy to see. That's easy to see. That's easy to see. That's all easy. That's all easy. That's all easy. This is maybe a little complicated, but you know, you can see the parts up here first and where they go. That's pretty basic. I think that's all right. I think we can leave that. This one might get a little lost. So I might have that up like this, and then I'll change where it goes and then rotate it. So you can see that it goes there, right? Because the angle of this gets a little lost. All right, so we're gonna go back here, and that sets us up beautifully for these 2 pieces here. All right, now, this is gonna be fine, but I know that the angle of this piece is not matching this. So change the step view and rotate. Now that matches this and how it's gonna be attached later. So you can see that's pretty easy, and it goes up here like this. And I try to center everything. So this is the same thing. This you can also rotate, because that's not how it's gonna look. Change step view, rotate, and then you just go through the rest of that, and it'll rotate it for the final thing. This is also rotating. Gotta match that. So this is all easily seen, I think. You can pick all that up. Yeah, that's good. And then this one gets rotated as well, along with that. So this should go through the same steps. Yep, and it attaches. And that's it, then it's done. Now I'll also do insert page after, and then you can do a bill of materials. and see how many pages it takes up. And on this last page, let's just go ahead and do this part. I will go to Bricklink and look up Cara Dune and get this image. Save image as. Microfighters, instructions, minifigs. I've got all the minifigs here. And then back over here. And I'll insert an image. And then I just have to find it because I don't ever name them. So then you can resize it. You have to hold the shift button down to keep it the same aspect. And then insert text. And the text is going to be 30. It's going to be a lot bigger. Suggested minifigure Cara Dune. Justification over to the right. And I'm going to move it a little farther down so it's not there. So, other than the splash page, I can save this. Save. So now that when I open back up, this will all be here. Then I'll insert the splash page here. It's just a matter of going and getting the splash page. This isn't it, but, you know, just kind of doing the same thing. Making sure the aspect stays the same, doing this, and then exporting it, and then it's done. So that's how I make instructions. I'll go back through and I'll do the same process for the Imperial troop transport. It's going to be roughly the same model. There's going to be a few differences, namely the side sub models, but that's kind of how everything that I do is done. I kind of pick the bottom layer of it and start bottom up, back to front, so it's easily readable. Again, I'm trying to group as many pieces together as possible. Some of these instructions may be a little dumbed down because you're doing like one piece at a time, but you know, it's only going to be 12 pages, 10 pages, something like that. It's not a lot. Maybe more than that. Oh my goodness, 40. Okay, 50 steps. So that's it. It is 11:30 my time. Thank you guys for being here. Walter, Brad, Kodiak, I appreciate you coming in. I think we saw a couple other folks on earlier. James Barnett, a friend of mine locally, popped in for a hot second. Thanks for being here. Tuscan Productions. Yeah, so you guys have a good rest of your day. And I don't think I'm going to be here Tuesday unless I get that Everything is Awesome set, in which case I might have a surprise little stream and maybe have some guests on or something. We'll see. But yeah, so that's it. Kodiak, just let me know when you're ready to go and we can do a Zoom call or a stream lab or whatever you want to do. Just let me know. But everybody else, you have a good rest of your day and I'll talk to you later. Bye.